Hey, horror fans, once again, it is me, the Horror Miser, Mani G. Yes, time to do something I haven't done in a while, a tag video. Yes, this tag, if I get this correctly, is the top 10 horror movie genre, not horror movie, let's get this right, top 10 movie genre tag. I got that right. Now, no one knows who created this tag, but it's been going all around on YouTube. My good friend Leo from Greek Legion of Doom, he actually tagged me in his video, so I decided to go on ahead and do this tag. Now, basically what this tag is that we take 10 movie genres, drama, western, horror, comedy, and animation, action, sci-fi, romance, adventure, and comic book, and we put in what we believe to be is our favorite or tops in each of those genres. So there's 10 selections, so there's 10 movies. So let's go on ahead, and here is my top 10 genre movies. And we're going to start with drama. Now, drama for me is a bit of a, it could be pretty good depending upon how the movie flows and how it's acted and how it's written. But one of my favorite dramas is a film back in the early 80s and 90s called A Soldier Story. Now, I actually love this movie because me and my brother used to quote mostly all the lines from this one because it's basically, it's a kind of a murder drama. Actually, was one of the first films that starred Denzel Washington, David Allen Garrett. He's in this particular one. It's about this black. Yeah, the movie is about a black captain who is from the judge advocate, the JAG officers. Yeah. I think it's the judge advocate generals. He's investigating the murder of a sergeant named Sergeant Waters. He was shot and killed, and he's down there to investigate. Now, obviously, this was back during, I guess, during the 40s or 50s, 40s. And of course, there was a lot of prejudice back in the day, especially in the armies, because they didn't want black people fighting. And eventually we thought that the Klan did it, but we actually find out what somebody else did. I won't say what the film is, but one of the great things about the film is that I love the performance of Howard E. Rollins Jr. and Adolf Sealer. He was Sergeant Waters, and me and my brother would used to imitate him because he would call people, he said the word Gitchy all the time, and I love that one. But favorite horror drama is A Soldier Story. Okay, the next one is Western, and it's been a while since I've seen a good Western film. I mean, there are plenty of Western films that I saw back in the day growing up. Obviously, True Grit, all the John Wayne Western films, all the Clint Eastwood spaghetti Western films that came out back in the day. But I'm going to go with something a little bit out of the way. It's still a Western. Some people might actually call it a horror film, but it is actually still a Western, and it is Bone Tomahawk. This came out in 2015. It stars Kurt Russell and Patrick Wilson. It's about this group of guys that are in search for these Indians that have kidnapped this person, and they're cannibal Indians. Now, this is a very Western film. It does have some horror elements in it, but it does take place in the 1890s in the West, and I truly did enjoy this film. So, for a Western film, I'm going to go with Bone Tomahawk. And now for horror. I'm pretty sure mostly people who know me very well, when it comes to horror, my favorite horror movie is The Exorcist. I don't need to say anything else about that. Let's go on. The next genre is comedy. Now, comedy is a mixed bag for me because everyone has different taste when it comes to comedy. We all think different things are funny, and for me, when it comes to comedy films, it depends upon the type of humor that you have, whether or not the leads actually work together, whether or not the lines they're saying are funny. Obviously, one of my favorite comedies of all time, and it still is Trading Places. When they brought you in here, you was crying like a... Half of that was for me. Wow, $5. I can go to the movies by myself. Turn those machines. That film still cracks me up. So, favorite comedy is Trading Places. Now, when it comes to animation, that's another mixed bag for me because I when I grew up in the 70s, there wasn't that many cartoons that I really liked to see. as far as animation is concerned. I'm not talking about the Saturday morning cartoon TV that came on TV. I'm talking about actual movies. Now I know we had the Disney cartoons, Bambi, Cinderella, Snow White. I wasn't really into that. I really wasn't a Disney kid. I was a horror kid. I grew up watching horror. Now, as I got older and started watching more animation films, I seemed to like a lot of the Japanese movies that came out. Truly love The Ghost in the Shell. I think another one's called no, it's called can't remember that. There's one Japanese film. I think it's called Metropolis. I think that's Metropolis. That's a good horror film, Japanese anime film. Then there's Akira. That's another one. There's some pretty good Japanese anime films I really truly like. But I'm going to go with something that's I saw way back in the day. I'm not way back in the day, but something that's really good. That's called Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. Yes, was part of the Batman the animated series. They got so popular that Bruce Timm and the people from who did the Batman animated series decided to create a movie version of this character. And it's a great movie. It doesn't get the didn't get the respect that it did in the box office, but when you take a look at that, it actually shows Batman in his beginnings, how he actually fell in love, and how he decided to go against his love. And it's a great concept. Of course, you know the Joker's in it. We got to have the Joker in it, but definitely when it comes to animation, it's Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. Now, when it comes to action films, yes, I was probably almost grown when the 80s came out. We have all those action films, those cheesy action films that came out during the 80s, especially when it came to Arnold Schwarzenegger and those one-liners. And my favorite one is Commando. If you want to see a cheesy 80s action film, that's the film. You have the one-liners. You have the body count. Arnold Schwarzenegger takes out a whole platoon of guys all by himself. His battle with Bennett, and what can you say? You just gotta love it at that time. So coming in, action films will be Commando. And now we go for sci-fi. Now, sci-fi is a very big range for me. It can go from either Aliens or Star Wars. But I decided to go with Star Wars, and the best one out of the whole series is The Empire Strikes Back. I mean, you can't beat that. The reveal that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker. No, I am your father. One of the greatest lines ever in movie history. So you can't beat that when it comes to sci-fi. I mean, there's other great sci-fi films, but for me, it's The Empire Strikes Back. And perhaps a difficult one for me for this is romance. I'm not a big romance guy when it comes to films. It's simply just not my cup of tea. Not saying that they're not great, and I'm pretty sure there are some great romance films. And the Notebook comes into mind, and for me for that. And I'm pretty sure there are plenty others, but they're simply just not my cup of tea. But if I'm going to pick a romance that I truly believe, and again, a lot of might get some knack from this, but it's Bram Stoker's Dracula. Yeah, I'm going there. I mean, you do have to like the fact that they decided to, even though they did stick close to the source material from Bram Stoker's novel, the fact they actually decided to create a love story between Dracula and Mina. I think I love that aspect of it. It's a different way to portray Dracula. So, and they do have an interesting love story. I love the performances by Gary Oldman and Winona Ryder. So, and of course, I'm going to talk about um, Keanu Reeves and his fake British accent. So, for me, it is Bram Stoker's Dracula. And now for the adventure films. Now, adventure films, they are very wide range. You might think about superhero films, maybe some of the superhero films back in the day. You might actually decide to bring in some action films because some of them can be adventures. But for me, when it comes to adventure films, the first thing that comes to mind is Indiana Jones. Yes, all the Indiana Jones films. I heard they're actually coming out with a fifth one. Can you believe that? And Harrison Ford's going to star in it. Isn't he almost 80 years old? Do you think they can still use that whip? Well. But definitely will be Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I mean, when I first saw that in theaters, that wore me out. And it still wears me out today, even today, because it's still a great adventure film. I like all the practical effects. Obviously, Harrison Ford. little kid that does kung fu. I can't remember his name. I think it's Shorty. Shorty is his name, and his name in the special effects. It's still a great adventure film. So for me, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And last but not least, it's time to go for comic books now. When it comes to comic book movies, um, there are, I say, about three movies that I would actually consider to be my favorite when it comes to the comic book genre. That is Captain America and the Winter Soldier, The Dark Knight, and Avengers Endgame. Those are my three favorite ones. And so I really had to stick it out and decide which one out of those three I had to pick. And of course, I had to pick Avengers Endgame. Uh, it's just a finale as far as the 10-year track we went on with the MCU, and seeing all those beloved characters that we began to grow and love, and the after effects. I won't spoil anything. I'm pretty sure most people know what happens in that particular film, but it shows the hard work and dedication and the great writing between the Russo brothers and the excellent acting that they have, the great practical effects, the CGI, everything about that film is the culmination of the 10 years that we started with Iron Man and then we end up with Avengers Endgame. And this shows the great work that Kevin Feige did in order to create the MCU. So, comic book, Avengers Endgame. And so there you have it. That is my tag video for top 10 movie genres. I want to again thank Leo from Greek Legion of Doom for tagging me. I think again we don't know who created this tag, and I think from watching other people's videos, I think Sean he tagged some people. I'm pretty sure Jen and Christian tagged some people. But if you're watching this video, if you want to do the tag, hey look, just say that you've been tagged by me, the Horror Miser Monty G. And so there you have it. That's my video for the day, guys. Hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, please like and share because it does help out with that YouTube algorithm. And if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button and ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime when I put up new videos such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember that horror rules. And I'll see you in my next video. I'm out.